I've been doing our sales for our franchise, and we're on our fifth store.
Okay.
It's it's a lot of work, as everything is in life, but
Right.
I'm looking for somebody who can take a leadership role in the sales, not so much in the marketing side, but just
Right.
closing deals, finding people. But we have a lot of the marketing in place already, and
Okay. I can see that.
good. What did you learn about it so far?
Well, I think it's an interesting, I would call it a hybrid concept because I don't know what your operational experience has been, but I think small businesses um, kind of like storefronts. And the storefront model does also allow you to pick up some sort of individual and maybe quasi business kind of business. I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but like, for example, a church or um, a school or just, some family that's got a bunch of computers can go to a store and, there's a lot of consumers just like the walk up environment. And that's why, for example, Best Buy Geek Squad has been so successful. But I, for one, would never take a computer to a Geek Squad because I think I know more than the geeks and I'm not, really an IT practitioner. So if you can provide that kind of walk up storefront environment and actually provide like commercial quality service, I think that's a really interesting business model,
So we opened up our first store in 2012.
right?
This is a picture of the outside of the store.
Right?
This is our original store,
Yeah.
first store, and yeah, through this door
Hmm.
is this is the POS area. This is our offices back here, and this is a live video of our
Yeah.
store. So this is the front door. This is the point of sales area.
Hmm.
We have corporate offices over here.
Right.
The work area for our employees. This is a bench,
Right.
and then we have a picnic. I don't know why they pointed this picture. This is another room, which is our conference room, but this is pointed outside to our picnic bench. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, and as far as I love what you just said when you said a lot of consumers like to go to a storefront. You got that right. They do. And the philosophy of this is that they like to buy things where it's not a mystery because
Right.
MSP put it under a contractual arrangement and lock you in. And just like you didn't want to buy HubSpot for $2,500 a month, you wouldn't want
Yep.
an MSP managing your business when you can do it yourself. So how about a hybrid? Right. Where when you get into trouble, you know who to call.
Right.
Down the street, you know the people by name, their face, they're friendly. So that's the concept. That's the franchise. It's been um, it's been really successful for my store,
Hmm.
operating it for 12 years. I have a business manager, operations manager. He's also involved in the franchise. His name is Chris.
Okay.
Great guy. But Chris has been, see, I see another picture up here. This is during the pandemic. Chris is
Yeah.
picture, but I'll show you another
Okay.
one. He's got better pictures than that. But Chris is the guy. Here's a good one. Chris is
Okay.
the guy who takes care of the store. The reason why I tell you this is because I have to find more Chris's
Yeah.
because he does a great job. He watches over the books, the money. And this year we're going to do. We hope to surpass $1 million in sales.
Okay.
Sounds like, oh, what's that, right? If you owned a McDonald's, you'd be doing 20 million. Well, here's the difference. Our margins are 30 to 40%,
Oh, sure.
and
Yeah.
bottom to the bottom line. And the other part is we're in a very, very small market area.
Right.
The town of Chagrin Falls is surrounded by, little, we're on a waterfall street. Let's see I don't know what we show people here. Yeah, you can sort of a
Oh, yeah.
downtown area, view larger map. But yeah, so tell me now, you know about us, you know what
Hmm.
I'm doing. See, we're in this little town. It's about 55,000 uh,
Hmm.
residents or so inside a 5 mile area. That's it.
Right.
And then probably about 3,000 businesses. And we call that we have three different market areas. So this is the real low population market area. I'm not sure. It's basically a C area.
Right.
We're going into Miami right now where it's like quadruple uh, those figures, more than that, 5 times. Um, and we're expecting to be able to do $1 million very fast. Took us a
Right.
long time to get to $1 million in
Right.
this little store. But we proved out the model. We're Click It Franchise. And I'm looking for a VP of franchise development. We're up to 5 stores. So we started in this little town of Chagrin Falls, which is outside of Cleveland. It is a brick and mortar IT services store. And what we do, brick and mortar, is we sell managed services. So that means that we're able to take care of companies' websites, their backup, their security. We help them with their maintenance of their systems, and it's just a little bit of everything. So we like to call this flag is covering it up, but it says your local IT department. So everything from computer repair on. So that's how it began about 12 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I said, you know what, we could be a franchise. So I've decided to be a franchise, and now we've opened up stores in 5 different areas. We have another store now we're working on in the Miami area. Yeah, pretty exciting. It's a brick and
Awesome.
mortar
Hmm.
retail MSP business. So if you know what managed service providers are, that's what we do.
Hmm.
Do it in a brick and mortar setting, very unusual. And we've productized over 100 services, MSP services. So managed service providers provide support for small businesses in general.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
our focus is on the small businesses. And we've been opening up, now we're up to 5 stores. Um, have a store here in Miami that we're working toward now.
Okay.
I like this picture. This was during the ribbon opening that we did together. Um,
Oh, wonderful.
and it's a picture what these stores look like. So they have a very strong um, logo, presence. We work really hard with the franchise owners in building their reputation, giving them, a lot of tools. It's a full blown what we define as being a full service franchise. You get just basically everything you need to run your business in a box. So,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that's Click It in a nutshell. So we have over 40 websites, and we're building a presence for each of our locations so that when we build a store out, we build it where we're um, making sure that the internet for their location is going to point in their direction. So, for instance, this is sort of our general vision site. But to answer your question, there's well, there's actually 16 divisions now. So of
Okay.
product. So
Okay.
we divide we consider each one of these to be a specialty. A certain amount of skill somebody needs in order to fulfill these services. So, for instance, if I mean something as simple as repair, so we have a repair site,
Hmm.
which is a top level domain, and give you another example, maybe phones, um, and all of these services are displayed in our stores. So our store here in Chagrin Falls, outside of Cleveland, the URL is Chagrin Falls dot. It's a subdomain of a main domain. So
Okay.
chagrinfalls.stores.com. And then what we do, this is our way in which the store then shows their local customer base the products that they're providing. So
Okay.
we do full-blown CRM. I was going to bring you into like a backup. It's pretty easy to understand, right? Everybody needs backup. So we have a lot of backup solutions. We do,
Data
recovery.
center. Okay, you also set up the data center.
We will set up data centers.
Okay.
So our techs are trained. In fact, this is a video right here. This is our store in Chagrin Falls. This is actually customers standing there with one of our techs. And there's 4 cameras set up here. This one's aimed outside through our barn door. We have a picnic table out there. But this room is actually a conference room where we do our training for our franchisees. This is our tech room where we have a bench here and where we process our work orders. And then this is the corporate side of the business over here. I can tell you a little bit about who we are and then tell you what I'm up to.
Okay.
So we've been a franchise for a few years, but before that, we've really started this business technically since 2012, so 12 years or so.
Okay.
It is a brick and mortar franchise. We basically package managed services into products essentially that look like products that are easy to buy. So that's a little bit more geared for the small businesses, which is a segment of the market that typical MSPs don't chase. So we build these stores in neighborhoods, and where you can have a small community even that will use all the services, such as for email, backup, just general maintenance of your computers, setting up networks, helping with communications, being that IT department for a community. So these stores, the main store we have is our one that we built ourselves, which is called our corporate store. And we've sold franchises to owners that buy the franchise in Idaho, Utah, Georgia, and we just are working on right now a major one down in Miami. And the Miami store is, in fact, he's an MSP. He actually takes care of law firms as his specialty. We're now in the midst of raising capital. Yeah, so what we're trying to do is find someone who wants to work with us in the capacity of being the rainmaker for the franchise. So find us candidates, but they have to know know franchising in general. Of course, they have to know who all the players are, all the organizations, be sort of networked in, being able to know what lead generators work, what don't. I don't know. The longer I'm in this thing, I'm realizing it's changing all the time. Nobody has a magic bullet, but it is a matter of dollars spent. So we're actually in the midst of raising capital. Fairly new at doing that. We're doing what we're calling a community raise. So we're giving our customers and friends an opportunity to ride along with us on this wave.
Okay.
Because we really feel we're in a good spot. We have a well-defined product set. We have a well-defined funnel, working systems, everything that a franchise may find difficult if they're going to be successful. It's one of the many hiccups I think these businesses go through. We've combated it, which is why we're growing slow, but now we're ready to really ramp. So we
Sure,
can
that makes
handle 10 to 15 franchises a month.
Oh, well, that's a big number.
Well, if we're going to reach 300, that's what we're going to have to do.
Okay. Yeah. So you already have, you've been selling franchises. You already have an established FDD?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
FDD franchise agreement. In fact, I just finalized the franchise agreement with the Miami store this morning.
So what does an investment look like for a franchise owner? Like what's the franchise fee? What's the
Yep.
item 7 look like? What are those kinds of things when you're talking to prospective candidates? Liquid capital needed, things like that.
Yeah, we look for 50,000 as a minimum for liquid capital, but the franchise fee is it starts at $60,000. We have in our FTD, we have a discount page, just talks about, like, if they're in tech already, if they're somebody who we feel talks the language, they get a discount. If we have to
Okay.
do training in that area, they're not going to get the discount.
Sure.
We do look for sales-oriented people. To answer your question regarding what we look for, there's a whole profile that we have, and we make them take a test at clickittest.com to get pre-qualified. The cost of the franchise is anywhere from 150 to 250,000. That's a little bit on the higher end than what's published in the FDD right now, only
Okay.
because inflation and everything else. It's fairly straightforward to get into this business. You don't need a lot of equipment, and we can negotiate typically. I mean, this market's been the real estate, commercial real estate business has been fairly soft, I would say, up until recently. And it depends on the area. Miami's very tough. And honestly, until I raise the capital, either I find somebody that steps up, wants to put money in and have an equity position. That's an option. Or they wait for us to raise the capital if they're the chosen one. But I cannot, unless they decide they want to put a little time in and help me close some deals. I mean, right now I'm in the midst of just trying to find more leads.
Okay.
So I've been using Biz Buy Sell, but we're going to try something with LinkedIn. Seems like LinkedIn is getting, I mean, it's definitely been the better avenue. It's just we've never really had a guy. I found somebody actually does this for franchises, so we're going to give that a shot.
Yeah. How about franchise brokers? Have you looked at that route?
So as a rule of thumb in this industry, when I first began, I did join International Franchise Brokerage Association or something like that, one of those. Make a long story short, I learned the hard way that emerging franchises don't do well there because we were pitted up against other franchises, with much bigger systems that offered more and gave incentives to the sales guys that we never knew about. And we were being presented, but nobody was biting because you don't want that. There was one guy, the one guy that insisted on Click It, got us, but then they took half the franchise fee. It's too expensive for us at this stage of our game. And
yeah, that's fair.
Well, we built a real sophisticated funnel on our own CRM. We have a CRM that we have been operating. We're this little store, but I can show you a picture of it if you'd like. This is our cameras. This is the front of the store point of sale area. And this is the corporate offices back here. This is our workshop. There's a tech sitting there. You probably can't see him.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can now that I looked closer, but yeah.
And everybody seems to be out, but this camera is pointed the wrong direction. We got some kids that play on our picnic bench in the afternoon. We're in this little town, little historical town. This building actually used to be a hotel in the way back in the day. If you go to clickittfranchise.com, this is our corporate store right here. So this is what you were looking at on the camera was this point of sales area, and this is the corporate side.
Okay.
And we have a conference room training area over here for the
Okay.
franchise. So, we've been set up for this for quite some time, but now again, I'm looking for that main person who wants to join us and can be part of the group. This is the most recent opening. This is the one in Utah.
Okay.
And you see the mountains in the background there.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
nice.
Beautiful view.
Yeah, and the next one we're opening is going to be in Miami, but this is again, it's an MSP, a managed service provider, which is really a target for us. There's no reason
Uh-huh.
why we shouldn't be selling guys that are already in this business, because what really makes us unique, and I'm going to show you like our company store, we build a sub-domain dominance, I guess, for each subject matter. So in this case, this is Chagrin Falls. This is our main store, but I could just as easily go here and put in Marietta for Marietta, Georgia, which is our Marietta, Georgia store.
Sure.
You'll see a phone number change up here. But we do this for every division of top level domains, and each one of those top level domains, like click it CRM, you go to a top level domain, you go click it CRM. And so this is a national presence with top level, but a local presence for subdomains.
Okay.
So we a lot of strategy and tactics that are built into this when we build a store out. So I think that's one of our major added values. We're actually the agency for the franchisees. What I found in this industry, I think you'll hear this from, and I did talk to somebody today. Ever hear of computer troubleshooters or talk to somebody who's involved in that organization? And that's been a major issue for people, is not having the marketing is sort of like the afterthought. The sales is the afterthought. They just want people to be paraded in. So we're actually developing a fully blown lead generation system. It's in the process of being built for ClickIt. And getting our franchisees leads.
So I know one of the things that you mentioned on LinkedIn when we were messaging was the opportunity for, maybe I think a lower salary and some deferred salary as you were coming on. Like, what does that look like to you? What are you thinking with that?
I'm not.
Okay.
I am, but I'm wide open to suggestions. So, cards on the table. We know that a position that is a leadership position in an organization like this out there is like 150 to, I think I have a range. It's going to take a few months to raise. We're raising $1.2 million.
Okay.
I've never had to raise money. I've bootstrapped my businesses. I've never really been good at that, to be quite honest with you, as far as, raising capital. So what we're doing is we're doing this WeFunder raise. Did you happen to visit that?
I did.
Yeah. So I guess it's a matter of, and so this is the community stage. This is friends first.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good question. What are you thinking? I haven't given this enough thought. I'm talking to Bob. Oh, you get to witness a customer coming in. Oh, that could be interesting. So here's the interaction of a customer walking in and talking to one of my techs.
Yeah.
And let's see what he's doing. Oh, he's picking up. So she's obviously picking up a job. So that's it. We do residential as well, businesses. Threw it out there that, I'm looking for this VP of franchise development. It needs to be an industry guy. As I've seen, industry guy, for instance, I'm looking at, like the guy I talked to last night is also, Bob, you'd like to hear this, willing to put in money. And I'm asking him for $50,000. That's a pretty significant, commitment. But with that, he buys himself a job and a responsibility, right? Because he's got to make that money back, and he's got to make it back for the organization. And he knows he'll have to know, and he does know. He's doing the investigation right now. But Hasn't, I mean, he's the one that put it out there, not me. So I think I'm going to run across a number of guys that know how to do that job, that have brought franchises from 1 to 20 to hundreds. I've spoken to another woman recently. Her name is Kim. She is the managing director for Shooters, which grew, by the way, Bob, from 100 franchisees when I knew them back in the days of David Rush. Back in those days, they were 100 franchisees. Now they grew to 800 and they're worldwide, 32 countries. As you know, we've been trying to sell franchises, and the trick to franchises, trick, if you may, is you need a lot of leads to close one franchise. And that's difficult because it costs money. Lead generators cost anywhere from $30 to $150 a lead before they give you any kind of guarantee you're going to close them. Which means that the formula, the way it works, the industry says 1 in 100 leads you'll close. That's what the industry norm is for franchise business. Now, I think, oh, we're so good, you know, and if we target IT professionals, you know, we'll probably close 2 out of 100, maybe 3. But still, you're paying, you know, $100 a lead. So I need to have a spend of $10,000, 15 every month, just to generate those leads, to generate those 100 leads, right? Just to give you round figures. Well, I don't have it, and I know there's no way we're going to bootstrap that. So I've been spending anywhere from, you know, $500 to $1,000 a month, plus 1 or 2 leads. They get into our system. This is our CRM. This is high level. You can see what we have here, Ethan. We have a lot of accounts, sub-accounts, we call them. We're the agency. Motherboard is the agency. So we do work for
Is Motherboard what you're calling the white label high level?
Motherboard's the agency, and it also is the owner of the franchise and the Click It brand. A Motherboard is the umbrella. It's basically the umbrella. The is like everything under it. You know, Click It Group is like all the member companies, people that, like Karen down in Marietta bought a franchise. She's part of the Click It Group. But who owns the intellectual property and all of the Click It brand and the rights to sell the franchise is Motherboard. So you would be working for Motherboard.
I see. That's the holding company.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, we have Click Connect Corp, which is the store, which Chris runs in Chagrin Falls. So, but then there's independently owned stores we don't own, but we get a royalty or we have some kind of an arrangement.
Those are the franchises.
Those are the franchises. Where I want to go is, I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting, you know, as an agency, the fee for generating leads. And more, I've been working on, I am not there yet, but this will be another product offered through the franchise, the lead generation. It's a complete integrated system for lead generation. It's the high level, it's the phone system, it's the text, you know, missed call text back feature, Google ads, Facebook ads, it's all of this incorporated into an affordable, and I want to stress that, affordable system, because if I were to build each one of these out independently like I have.
Yeah, I saw the I saw what Go High Level replaces. It's true. It's high. I mean, even like ClickFunnels was $300 a month like 10 years ago, and that was nothing. So I mean, and this, yeah, I mean, it's true. It's probably a few $1,000s worth of software in it.
Well, I'm going to caution you about high level. There's a lot of guys on YouTube touting it. They're making money selling you as an agent, trying to convert you so that they get the agency commission. The agency commission It's called, I got somebody calling me. The agency commission is, it's an affiliate commission. We make $100, you know.
Right.
So that's what they're after. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been working with Go High Level for probably about a year and a half, maybe longer, and it's hard. And the incorporation of everything, and you know, I have staff of guys, Yash and Jigger and all the guys, and and then, you know, I do a little comparison. I'm seemingly selling up against, which is an easy sell, HubSpot. But I'm telling you, the integration and the working with the customer and getting everything done that you need to set up a high level account so it's actually performing and doing what it needs to do, and especially when you combine it with tracking, you know, Google Leads, like we've been doing Google Ads. It's a lot of work, but this is a pretty good comparison. It shows you,
Yeah.
you know, what your monthly would be with them versus us. It's us versus them. But it's not all about the money. It's all about the results and who's doing the work. I find that a lot of businesses are sort of caught up in the having to have to do more than they need to, because the complexities are just over. It's way beyond. And they, after 6 months to a year, if they're not really utilizing it, eventually they'll drop it. It'll be over, you know, and they just go back to the old ways, you know, cold calling and hoping people learn about them through other means. But the internet's here to stay. It's definitely a way to generate leads. I'm again working on this. This will be Click It Leads. It will be a product. So how we do this kind of thing, and I'm trying to shove a lot in here. Let me go. I'll introduce you to Click It Test. That's how we get. That's the first thing a candidate has to do. They have to take this test in order to know that they qualify. And then once they do, they get fed into our funnel. And I might as well show you some bits and pieces of this. So Click It Franchise is the funnel for the franchise, obviously. So opportunities. Have you had any exposure to high level yet, Ethan, besides?
Yeah.
Well, these are the opportunities. These are columns, which,
Yeah. It's like any CRM.
very
It's
similar.
exactly like HubSpot.
HubSpot, very similar to HubSpot. This is a guy that I probably my only candidate I'm in continued conversation with right now, Dragon. But, you know, getting people, I really come down to, I'm not reaching their emotional core of why they really want to do this. I'm just not hitting those buttons as a sales guy. So people just sit on the fence and they just wait for that next shiny object and they go run toward the light. And then the sales guy that gets that emotional turn, that's why they make the decisions they do and buy another franchise, not us. So that's the magic of sales, right? You gotta reach that core with people. This list is open. I mean, it's open. I'm not sure how I'm going to address it yet, but everybody that's on this list has received a series of emails that they haven't either responded to. They get calls from our cold caller, who, by the way, we call him our sales ambassador. His name's Roy. He works out of the Philippines. He's at extension 3030, and he's calling these people, but he's getting nowhere. As a franchise business, you get all our systems, our vendors. We teach you how to build a successful IT services business in a brick and mortar setting. And if they subscribe to our, they become a enrolled member of our, this is our franchise candidacy program that's managed this way. Under the candidacy program, I have this coaching program. It's called Territorial First Option. this is what your dad tells me I can sell all day long, coaching. So this is all about the coaching. That's how we deal with trying to find franchise candidates. We have lead generators scattered throughout the internet. And right now, where I'm getting my dollars and why we're still talking today and why we're still in business is because of Motherboard and the agency services that are offered, whether it comes through the store or it comes just through them finding out about me. So finding out about doing website design and management, to SEO, to ad management, lead generation. So that's what we're doing. And that's why I'm in business today. And that's why I'm able to still pay your dad, because the store is not pulling enough income for just me and Chris, And that's why this little position I'm thinking of for you, if you could help us, it would be tremendous. And yeah, is there money in it? Absolutely. And I'm complete open book. I can share with you everything. But I have actually debated, and Bob, this is for your ears, whether I should just be Motherboard and forget the store, sell the store to Chris, let him buy it, forget the franchise. But we're so invested in this, like just our franchise agreement alone, the hours, right, Bob? How many hours? And I think we're close. It's not a matter of that we can't sell franchises. We can. Can we make them successful? Well, they have to be in this thing for 3 years. They need enough money stowed away, and they need to get enough capital together to last them the 3 years. Part of my coaching program is going through and building them a realistic, projection, whether or not they're going to make enough money and for how long can they go without pulling an income. It's funny. I'm with people. What I hear is like, people making $150,000, $200,000 a year will take the $60,000 a year job because they're so stressed out. They say, look, if I'm making 60, I'll pay my bills, and the sky's the limit from there. And it is. With this business, we know that a store can generate enough income. If we weren't blowing it all every day on the franchise like we do, we blow the money from the store on the franchise and supporting too many people. So that's why we're at. But if the store was just standalone without all that, it'd be making $150,000 a year. And that's pretty decent, for a guy doing that work. Can be pretty comfortable. So that's the model we're set. That's why I'm out looking for money, because I gotta raise capital. I can't do this bootstrapping because I don't have $10,000 to spend a month to get the number of leads I need using the systems that everybody does in this industry, in order to generate the leads. I don't have the $150,000 a year that's going to be paid to the sales executive that's going to bring in 100 franchises. So I can't put the cart in front of the horse. I got to get the capital, and then I got to execute a plan. But stopgap. We all know businesses are created, and people are very successful. And what's the main reason? Sales. Sales, sales, sales. It's something that we have the systems, we have the people, we have everything, the resources. We've got it all. We need a sales guy. Yeah, well, this search is critical, I think. So I'm making it a priority. Yeah, do you want to know what Click It is? I'm not sure if you had time to do any research or
I
look
did,
at any of our links.
Yeah, I have, but I'd love to hear about what you guys are up to lately and kind of what's you needing to have this role. It sounds like in the near future, and kind of who's been selling anybody in addition to you. So you are it. Yep.
I mean, in some regards, our operations manager, because he has a conversation when we get the candidate to a certain spot. We have a series of like 3 or 4 meetings that they have It's all part of the vetting, getting them up to speed before we award them the franchise. We have a whole members portal. It's called members.clickettfranchise.com. And people go through that. Yeah, so uniquely, we are the only brick and mortar concept for managed services. And if you know what managed services are, that's what we do. We have over 100 productized services now in our store. We have some very unique ways in which we go into a location and optimize their websites that we build for them. We have over 40 top level domains that surround the domain name Click IT. So we have like Click It Backup, Click It Email, Click It Web Design, whatever we consider to be a specialty of we call it the Click It group. We have the group of companies. So underneath that is each area of expertise in our categories of products and divisions. Most of this, some of this you'll find at clickitgroup.com, where it has sort of a description. This site's we're about to relaunch a brand new site, so we're working on it. But this is all the top. This is a lot of the top level domains for the categories of products that each store sells in their local areas. And the concept of a store is to be a community driven IT department for the residents and businesses in their surrounding area. So a franchise owner inside of 5 miles with the right choice of a location can make a very good living servicing his residents and business community with these types of services on a recurring revenue basis. So we have quite a few revenue streams that they are given when we're creating the storefront in the store. We work with them in developing their finding the location and to write the business plan, and depending on where they are in their lives as far as their background of what they know. If they've never owned a business before, finding the capital that they have to put in place. Franchise fee starts at 60, gets discounted down to about 50 typically. We have about 150. We usually recommend a loan minimum of 150,000. There's an SBA program called Fast Track, which we've been successful in putting our franchisees through. Let's see, you can't spend, the idea is to make sure you've got the funding in place. So, because it's going to take you, realistically 2 to 3 years before you got enough business to be an income replacement.
How many FTE at each location typically? How many people they have working at a store with the owner?
Well, we recommend 2 with the owner to start off. So here, I'll show you our store, which is, I have to start my cameras.
Sounds just like our FTE model. It's owner plus 2.
Yeah, we really try to find, owner operators. That's the goal. That's not always easy. Yeah, so our store looks like this. You've got your front, probably from a context standpoint. Before I show you that, I'll show you if you go to Click It Franchise, we have a series of photos. And so we have a company store, which we've had operating since 2012. And before then, I was a developer, and I had 16 guys underneath me, all under my roof. We were doing web apps, a lot of web apps. And we discovered sort of the hard way, people kept on coming to me, friends, and say, "What do you do? Work on computers?" No, I'm a developer. What? Oh, can you help me fix my computer? And finally I said, oh, okay, bring it down. I got two guys, systems administrators, they'll work on them. And one of those systems administrators said, I wrote this program called Repellent. It keeps all the bad guys away. It was a predecessor to, Norton Utilities. If we were smart enough, we would have just marketed that. But now we sell best in class services. So we basically make up our makeup of products that we sell our customers. We make sure they're the best in class, and then we are the guys that are managing them for them. What a true managed service provider does, right?
Okay.
So that's the front of the store. This is the door that I'm going to walk you through here.
How many square feet on average are your stores right now?
We try to look, when we're looking for a store, we'll look for 750 square feet, 2,500 square feet.
Oh, okay.
So this is the front of the store is the point of sales area, but it can be as small as what you see when you walk into a Subway for a Subway sandwich. In fact, Subway sandwich locations, you could turn those around and make them Click-It stores.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got a point of sales area. It's very sort of upscale looking. There's this wall sticker of services over here. So people will walk in to bring their computers in to get recycled, and all of a sudden they'll look at that sticker and say, oh, you do email. I have an email problem. Can you help me? And all of a sudden they're a $20,000 a year account. We're doing all sorts of things for them.
Sure.
So that's how it sort of evolves. And that's the marketing approach. So this is our back room with the text. This is the bench. You can see Tom there working on a computer, and then Patrick's back here. But our techs sit back here and do the work and process. And then we have our offices over here. And that's on the other side. We actually have the two-door entryway. So, and then we have sort of, this camera is actually in our conference room, but it's headed out toward the picnic bench.
Okay.
So in the afternoon, we have kids playing and, causing problems. So my guy said, we're going to catch those little rascals. So,
Now, your
But
other
we-
two FTE, are they both techies then?
yeah, the other two are the techs. You as an owner do not need to be a tech. You need to be a good community guy, a good sales guy, a guy that likes people, but you got to talk the talk. So
Sure.
we do put people through a test. It's called a Click-It. It's at clickittest.com, fully developed test. Just sort of make sure you're a glass half full guy instead of half
Sure.
optimistic. We look for certain traits, personality traits in a person. So, and then once we get through that, we have a full sales funnel. We have our own CRM called Click-It CRM that we put them through. But I'm not feeding the funnel, so I'm trying to get to the funnel feed.
You bet.
And I need an industry guy who really knows his stuff, knows franchising like I do and better, and knows the lead generators, the guys that do the right job, and then can close deals. I think my biggest criticism of myself is I do not make an emotional connection enough with guys. I'm too concerned about, doing it right. And you got to make them an emotional connection, and you just got to get them over just past their fears. And I think that's what makes a very good salesperson. The funnel, the problem is being a one-man band, I've had to rely a lot on sales automation. So we have workflows, pretty complex workflows. So this is a different account, but if you go here to Click-It Motherboard or Click-It Franchise, I was gonna look you up on Click-It Motherboard because that's where you are. But under automation here, we have these workflows. I just want to show you one of the workflows just so that you have an idea.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
It's
it.
already developed. So I obviously need a guy that knows how to work like HubSpot or Salesforce. This is very much like HubSpot. I think it's a lot better than HubSpot. I should tell you this, frankly, I can't fulfill I really wanted to build a team. I think we're at the point now. We've had our store. We opened our store in 2012. It took us 5 years to figure out how we ourselves could make money. And it took us another 5 years before we could even think about being a model that we could duplicate.
Sure.
Took a long time. Our sales now, as a total organization this year, is going to be $1 million in sales.
Okay.
But it's enough to afford me and Chris a fairly good living with some perks. But I am not, unless I can raise some capital, I cannot afford to bring on somebody new, because you can't put the cart before the horse. Unless I found somebody who said, look, I'll put in, I'm going to put, I believe in it so much, I'm going to put some money in, I'm going to work for equity, and I'm going to do this for however many months before I got to start drawing an income. And we take a look at the spreadsheet, we look at the numbers, and we decide whether or not that makes sense. And if it's the right guy, I won't have to have these 30 interviews that have lined up the next few weeks. I've never raised money before. Always been a bootstrap kind of guy.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm at a certain age, quite frankly, Greg, that I don't know. This is like selling a gas station. You want to sell a gas station for $150,000 and retire. I can't do that. So I have to go for broke.
Understood.
So
No,
I
I love
decided
it.
to raise the capital necessary, because I got to spend it 10 to 15. I don't know how big your budget is to find out the leads, but I need a lead budget, that's significant.
Sure.
I spend under $1,000 a month, and I find maybe 6 leads, that are any good. And then most of those have been falling by the wayside. I don't have enough capital to be constantly dumping into this thing. But I do believe there's plenty of people who would love a Click IT franchise if they only knew we were around, that they knew we existed. I need to get out there. I mean, you probably don't even know who we were. Did you ever know who we were before you saw my, no.
You said the only brick and mortar and kind of this IT managed services space. How come? How come there's not more doing this in a brick and mortar?
It's hard, for one. I'm typing in sugarandfalls.clickitstores.com. And so these are all the different products and services that go in a store that they sell. So everybody needs backup, right? Online backup. So there's backup solutions here. There's also data recovery, hardware cloning. So every one of these categories of IT services is broken down into sub products, productized services. Because in the past, what you would do as an MSP, and they still do. So one of our competitors is Team Logic. Probably heard of them. But they got 300, 400 franchisees. They've done very well. But they sell sort of a different segment of the market. Usually these guys are working out of their homes or an office, and they sell this corporate, setting contractually, and they'll go in for a technology assessment, and they'll take their notes, or they'll plug in their thumb drive into the network, and they'll come back with a quotation, and it's sort of, okay, here's everything you're getting. I'm going to babysit all your computers. I'm going to take care of everything, and you don't have a thing to worry about. But from the customer standpoint, they have no idea what they just bought. They're just going to sign a contract and rely on this guy and hope, right?
Yeah.
And it's expensive, but we're going after the small business guys that are going to the Best Buys, looking at Geek Squad, which they're never going to manage services from Geek Squad. They're buying their computers from Amazon, and they're not going to be able to figure out their email unless they hire somebody. But they figured it out because people say, oh, it's easy, but it's not.
Oh, sure. It's
and
not, yeah.
Especially when you're an organization and you have a domain and you want it to be your domain. And so everything that goes behind your IT that runs your business should be given to us, and we will take care of it. And we do it in a way in which you're used to buying it, like you buy a hamburger at McDonald's. You buy it, and there's a menu. In fact, this is what our menu at our stores. You can't really see it from this, but there's a menu up here. You can sort of see a little bit remnants of a menu up there. That's actually, but we have all these computer screens. Like when you walk in McDonald's, the computer screens are all over, because it's all about and these products are showing up. So the menus, I think, let's see, we have TV screens right here. So the Chagrin Falls TV screens look like this. It's all delivered online. So you have a posters, TV screen. Oh, this gets a lot of attention. So threat map. We always have this oops. No, this is fine. Leave me alone. Yeah, the threats map, you know, attacks happening,
Oh, sure.
the Bitdefender map. And then the TV screens, other things are like the featured products list. So this is the way people are used to buying things. They say, oh yeah, I want one of those, I want one of those.
You bet. They're kind of picking out like a la carte, you know, or a bundled package. Now, Al, you have, is that correct, franchisee locations in Idaho, Georgia, and Utah, and soon to be Florida?
Yes. Miami. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Where
And
you
where
find
did
that
you-
out? You go
Who
to
are
liquor
these
stores.
guys or gals that you signed? Where'd you get these people? Where are they from? What was their background?
So the best lead generator for me has been Biz Buy Sell.
Yeah, we use them.
I mean, it's been the best, but it's not, I don't spend enough money with them. I wish I did.